Hi everybody, in this video we're going to talk about comparing fractions. We're going to try to figure out which fraction is bigger. If they throw a couple fractions at you, say which one's bigger, and you can't use your calculator. Because I know your first instinct is do 27 divided by 43 on your calculator, do 26 divided by 45 on your calculator, whichever number's bigger is the bigger fraction. That's perfectly fine. But if you're taking your MTELs or if you're taking some standardized tests, you don't have a calculator, you got to figure it out on your own. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do by using other logic. So what I like to do with these problems is I think about food. Okay, so I'm looking at these two fractions. I don't know which one's bigger. I don't know. But I think about pizza. And I think about cutting a pizza up into 43 pieces and cutting a pizza up into 45 pieces. Okay, first of all, a pizza cut up into 43 pieces, a pizza cut up into 45 pieces. Which pieces are bigger? Wouldn't you rather have the pizza that was only cut up into 43 pieces versus 45 pieces? So I think you're going to go with 43rds. They're bigger pieces. And look, you got more of those pieces than you do with the 45ths, right? So in this case, the 43rds are bigger pieces, right, of pizza. And when compared to 45ths, and we have 27 versus 26 pieces of these 43rds. So I think that means that the 27 over the 43 is bigger than the 26 over the 45. Smaller pieces and less of them. Okay, so that's kind of logic we're kind of using. How about the second one? We got 13 over 25 versus 34 over 70. Man, I don't know. That's a little dicey. Let's see. What we can do is we can use a benchmark. A benchmark is a number that, like a fraction that we're going to compare each of these fractions to. If you think about these two fractions, they're both pretty close to half, right? If you think about 13 over 25, 13 over 25 is slightly bigger than 1/2, right? Exactly, a half of 25 is 12.5, so 13 over 25 is a little bit bigger. How about 34 over 70 is slightly smaller than 1/2, right? Because 35 over 70 is a half. So if this is slightly bigger than a half, that's slightly smaller than a half. What does that mean? The 13 over 25 is bigger than the 34 over 70. Right? So in that case, we used a benchmark. Okay, how about number 3? 17 over 18 versus 19 over 20. Well, look at that. If you look at that, both of these are one piece shy of a whole, right? It's 17 over 18 versus 18 over 18. It's 19 over 20 versus 20 over 20. Both are one less than one piece, right, I should say, less than a whole, right? Because if you cut that pizza into 18 pieces, one of the pieces is missing. You cut that pizza into 20 pieces, one of the pieces is missing. So what are bigger pieces? Which ones are bigger pieces? Aren't the 18ths bigger pieces than the 20ths? 18ths are bigger than 20ths, right? 18ths are bigger than 20ths. So when somebody grabs a piece out of that pizza, there's a bigger chunk missing than when they grab the piece out of that pizza, right? So there's a bigger chunk missing in this fraction as compared to that fraction, right? So what does that mean? The 17 over the 18 is less than the 19 over the 20. This is a smaller piece missing compared to the 17 over 18. I'm telling you, food works for me, okay? So, think of food or pies. If you don't like pizza, try pies. Okay, what about number 4? 9 over 40 versus 12 over 44. I think this is another benchmark one. They're both kind of close to a quarter, right? So 9 over 40 is less than a quarter, right? Because 10 over 40 is a quarter. And 12 over 44, a quarter of 44 4 is 11, right? Is more than a quarter. So what does that mean? 9 over 40 is less than 12 over 44. Okay, how about the last one? 51 over 53 versus 65 over 67. Okay, similar to number 3, but in this case, you're 2 pieces shy of a whole, 2 pieces shy of a whole. So which are bigger pieces? 53rds are bigger than 67s, right? So there's 2 bigger pieces missing from this pizza as opposed to that pizza. So there's a bigger chunk missing from this pizza as opposed to that pizza. So that means 51 over 53 has got to be less than 65 over 67, right? So here we go, man. We looked at these kind of complicated fractions where you would have no clue which one's bigger unless you whipped out that calculator, and you never used your calculator. You just used your head and you figured out which fraction was bigger. I'm proud of you, so I hope that helps.